I love the Osmo Pocket 3. I really do. I bought it just kind of out of impulse, but I also had a few reasons for it. And now that I've kind of reflected on it and I've watched a lot of videos and content on the Osmo Pocket 3, I realized the reason why I bought it isn't really the reason why anybody else buys it. And I also noticed that that doesn't really matter. This camera is so good that it can do a lot of things. It isn't just a singular purpose camera, despite what I think a lot of people believe. And even I originally saw it and was like, nah, it's a vlogging camera. People don't need that. I'll never vlog. Newsflash, I think this might be somewhat of a vlog format today. So, we'll do something new and experiment with it. But I think it's only fair that I put it through its paces in an environment where it definitely excels, which is for sure in vlogging. But I think it's also interesting to show you all how I've been using the Osmo Pocket 3 and how it's changing the YouTube channel that I'm running. Not because I do a vlog channel, but because I do tech reviews. And it's been my primary camera for that reason, because it's so small, the sensor is so good, the 10-bit color is great, the gimbal is just so smooth, and to get smooth photography and videography, it's nice. Originally I was shooting a lot of my stuff on my iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is also really, really good, has an awesome camera. Sorry, I'm dizzy from spinning around. I can't help it. I've got ADD. So, you might just have to deal with that every now and then. But I was using the iPhone 15 Pro Max for a long time, and it was shooting really good videos. I had an Osmo, Pocket? It's not Osmo Pocket 6. It's a gimbal that DJI makes for phones. And it worked okay, but I had to start adding some stuff like microphones to it. And then the phone got too heavy for that gimbal, so then I went to like a Zhiyun, whatever that brand is that Best Buy carries, because it could hold more of a payload on the gimbal. And every time I'd went to Best Buy, because I'd bought the Osmo from Best Buy, I bought the other gimbal from Best Buy, I would walk by the Osmo Pocket 3 and be like, who buys that? What's that for? The creator combo. It can't be for any serious creators. But boy, was I wrong. I mean, I was wrong. I've seen a lot of people post things about the Osmo Pocket 3. They're like, I was wrong about the Osmo Pocket 3. And I think a lot of people definitely misunderstood the product. And I don't know if that's because people can't really take DJI seriously, just because they're like, oh, that's the drone company. But, I mean, if you really think about it, if they're doing drones, they can probably do gimbals pretty well, which they definitely do gimbals really, really well. And if you can do that, maybe they can do camera sensors pretty well. And as a matter of fact, I think they actually own, was it Hasselblad now? So, I mean, that's a pretty durable brand name in terms of sensors and cameras. And, I'm not the biggest camera gear guy, but still, I think DJI, they know what they're doing in terms of camera. So after I bought that Zhiyun gimbal, and then I put my iPhone on it, and I realized, well, I'm mounting, microphones to it. I'm, just really trying to get smooth footage with it. The DJI Osmo app, I remember having when I had the original gimbal, and I was like, wow, it was nice that I could just kind of draw a square around something, and it would immediately track it like this, right? And the Zhiyun app was never that good in comparison. And so then I was like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm in a tiny house. I need something portable. And maybe I should give the Osmo Pocket 3 a shot. It's a small camera. It's got really good smoothing. I love the Osmo app. Why not give it a shot, right? Best Buy's got a decent return policy. Let's go for it. And I got it, and I remember I got the creator combo, so I've got all the stuff. And as soon as I opened it up and I flipped that screen open, I was like, yeah, it's definitely wrong. And I'm going to be eating crow for sure. This is what I need more than I needed anything else. This thing is going to give me really cool shots. I know it's going to. It's just a cool piece of tech. And I don't ever plan on being crazy into videography, photography. I don't plan on even taking this thing out very much But still, how do I say this? I was so off about the Osmo Pocket 3 because I crammed it into a singular purpose thought process. And I don't know if it's the marketing material for the Osmo Pocket 3 that does that, or if it's because the kit is so, like, built out. I mean, the creator kit's pretty sick. It comes with this bag. It comes with a microphone that I'm using right now. And as a matter of fact, it's actually kind of versatile. I'll take a picture of it and I'll probably post it somewhere just to show you guys. But I'm running a Rode Video Mic NTG plugged in wirelessly to this wireless adapter, and it feeds straight into the Osmo Pocket 3's video. So it's baked right into the video, and it's high quality audio. I'm not wearing the microphone or anything like that, even though I have, and that microphone is very, very, very good. The DJI Mic 2s are actually pretty sick, which is another thing. They're good with audio. And I mean, if you think about it, a drone company, at least that was my thought process, being good at audio, is that really a thing? Because, most drone footage, they just cut out the audio, and then they're always going to edit it and add audio in post. But the DJI Mic 2 is actually pretty good. It's got 32-bit float audio. That was kind of a hot topic for a long time, and probably a lot of people really don't care, don't really notice the difference. Is it really a good thing? Yeah, it's nice to have, especially as your backup audio source, because I've definitely screwed some audio up a few times. But overall, I think the marketing and the package and presentation of the Osmo Pocket 3, it leads the average consumer to think this is for a creator that does vlogs. And if you're listening to this video right now, you're actually watching this, maybe it is good at vlogs. I mean, you're drawn in right now, and I just changed to center frame. It was that easy. Are you serious? I'm going to show you some footage that I've actually filmed when I combined it with one other thing, and it's that thing right behind me. It's a Moses slide pod, and that is pretty much a monopod that allows me to punch in, right? Most sliders, they're rails, and so if you put a camera on the rail, you're never going to be able to punch over top of something unless you have the slider above whatever it is that you're shooting, so it rides across the ceiling, right? The Osmo Pocket 3 mixed with the Moses slide pod over there is insane because it can just straight punch into anything that you need it to punch into. That thing also can go really, really slow. So if you use the hyperlapse feature on the Osmo Pocket 3 and mix it with the very, very slow sliding of the Moses slide pod, you can get like extremely creative, unique, but still good looking shots. Trust me, I've had my fair share of unique shots, and unique is the understatement of the year, and they're not good. So you can have a unique shot that's not good, but there's something about the Osmo Pocket 3 that it's almost like I can't screw things up. And I think that's what makes it so great for beginners, but it also can still help the most experienced videographers, at least from my understanding. And I've watched a lot of reviews of a lot of really good videographers, people who shoot really, really good content. Of course, they have extremely nice cameras, and a lot of them kind of do have rave reviews about the Osmo Pocket 3. And now I understand why. Because it makes someone as bad as me at shooting videos somewhat decent. And to be decent and only know how to shoot, I think I've only been really filming any kind of content for realistically like 3 months. I know I've had a YouTube channel for 6 months or so, but I've honestly only really focused enough to probably quantify it as like maybe 3 months worth of video shooting. And the Osmo Pocket 3 like took my content up to the next level. You can literally see, if you watch, I think it was a video that I did of the M3 Pro after 7 weeks. That was on the iPhone, which I think I was shooting that one just in regular log. The video I did before that was in cinematic mode, which was cool, but the blur was too synthetic for me. I didn't know I could turn it down at the time. And then the next video after that was an iPhone review where I did a 30-second intro of the iPhone, and you can just tell that the Osmo Pocket 3 really did a good job with me, right? Because essentially I was the one piloting that thing, and I still didn't do it right because, it's really not perfect for that application, but you can tell it took the video content up another level. I wasn't getting comments on, wow, that intro is great, or wow, the B-roll is beautiful. I never got those comments. Not until I got the Osmo Pocket 3. Then it was a totally different story. And I did my M3 Pro review. I think it was a 2-month review. And people were like, that intro was insane. They subscribed right after the intro, they knew. And the B-roll footage was great. I got so many comments on that. And it was all Osmo Pocket 3. Literally all Osmo Pocket 3. The talking head part, all of the B-roll. It was so good. But I've been thinking lately that if the Osmo Pocket 3 was good at something like that, and it's really not made for that, I wonder what would happen if I made content that allowed the Osmo Pocket 3 to really shine. And I think a lot of that would be me doing this vlog style stuff, which I doubt you guys want to watch me do my laundry on a daily basis, right? Because, you know, that's boring. But, you know, it makes me want to go outside more. And I got to thinking, if I'm going to go outside more often, maybe I could benefit from getting some neutral density filters, from getting some CPLs, right, which are pretty much just sunglasses for a camera lens. And what that does is it allows me to maintain this frame rate and maintain the shutter speed. Look at me using all these technical terms. I'm getting so good at this. No, I'm kidding. I'm not good at this. But still, makes me want to go outside more and shoot content and see really how good the Osmo Pocket 3 is in that environment. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got the ultra wide on, and this video might be a little bit longer than my other videos, and so maybe this is something that you can kind of listen to. You could watch the content if you want to, or you could just listen to me ramble. It's whichever one you guys want to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to get rid of this ultra wide lens here, figure out what the sunlight situation is outside, put the proper ND filter on there, maybe even a CPL if I want to polarize the lens, and get some good shots of me just maybe walking Marty and going outside and talking. Just to give you guys a feel and experience, you know, that'd be kind of like my first experience with the Osmo outside in that environment. So I'm going to take this thing off. I'll be right back in a minute. Just give me 1 second. There I am. Come on over here. So right now, I'm overexposed. Okay. Should be a lot better. Looks good to me. Let's roll with it. Stick with the 16s. All right, Goof, you want to go for a ride? Let's go. All aboard. This is actually a good opportunity. Probably show you guys this thing, which I'm plugging in right now. Actually drives my car for me. Talked about it a few times in a few videos, and what it does is it runs open source software end to end and allows, and it basically drives my car. Probably gonna do a video on it at some point in time. Be on the lookout for it. It's probably going to be a title something like "Let AI drive me 40,000 miles so you didn't have to." Tell you the good and the bad about this thing. So far, it's been literally life-changing. So much so that, you know, I trust it to the point where I'm willing to drive in it, but I'm also willing to let him in here too. So let's let this thing cool down real quick, buddy. I live in the middle of nowhere. Don't let that one guy who can actually like track down where people are. Don't show him this video, because I guarantee you he could for sure find out where I live. I don't know, it might be a little tough. I'm actually interested, so I doubt anybody who watches this video is going to show that to him, but hey, here's the challenge. No, never mind, don't do that, because then he's actually going to get it right and tell people where I live, and I don't know if I want that. I'm not ready for that kind of YouTube fame where my 2,000 subscribers know where I live like they actually care. Let's see here. Actually, I'll go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a demo. I'll roll this window up because I don't want him poking his head out of the two-way here. Get you some fresh air, Stinky. Well, that's what I thought. Let's go ahead and put the cruise on here. All So I'm going to go and just put this thing, I don't know, 40. We'll pop you guys out. Boom. All right, so this thing runs end-to-end open source software. I think they have a pretty cool approach on self-driving, and it's a little different because they're not actually programming everything I'm doing. So I'm just going to flip it around and show you guys what I'm talking about. Boom. There's where the wide-angle might come in handy. But clearly I'm not doing anything. I'm not driving. It's doing everything. And the cool thing is if you see those green bars around the interface here, when I touch the steering wheel, they go gray. And it's going to log that action and say, oh, wow, this guy just intervened. I made a wrong move, and it will learn from that. And so this is basically aggregating the behaviors of however many people are running this software. And it's a very efficient, effective approach towards self-driving, in my opinion, right? Waymo and Tesla, they're probably doing some forms of machine learning. I think there's no way you can do self-driving without it. This is, I think, heavily dependent upon machine learning, and it's not really doing too much hard coding of the parameters, right? The original version actually used to take, used to actually read the car's radar data, and it would basically just run the car's radar as its longitudinal control, is what they called it. But basically, this one uses pure vision. My car is driving as in steering and gas, brake, everything is done through the vision of the car, or through the vision of the what's called as the comma, and it runs open pilot, which mine, if you're like me and you're a nerd and you're a tech enthusiast or whatever, I run a custom fork of open pilot. It's called Sunny Pilot. Think of it, if you're an Android guy or you ever were, or gal. I know most of y'all are guys, but hey, the gals out there, thanks for watching. Think of it like CyanogenMod. And if you don't know what that is, then I'm just too old, and don't tell me. But it's just a custom spin-off of what is the base software, the open source software, OpenPilot. And I drive about 100 miles every single day to get to work and back. And this thing has changed the game for me, so much so that that is a totally bearable experience for me. I don't love being in the car, but it's much easier. Anyways, why are we in the car? Because I just showed up here and I didn't really tell anyone anything. I just said, hey, I'm going to go outside, get out there and do stuff. I need to get Stinky, Marty, Goof, I need to get him a toy that floats in water because it's a hot day and I would like for him to take a swim because he's already stinky. I can let him get in the lake and it won't be any problems. So that's what we're doing. And we're also testing the microphone. We're probably getting some wind noise. Kind of weird having a dead cat on the side of my head. Never thought I'd say that sentence, but that's actually the term, I think, for this little fuzzball that you put on these microphones. But yeah, what we're doing right now is we're on our way to find something that floats, that's safe for dogs to chew on. You know, it is what it is. And it's also a good demo of the self-driving tech in my car. Like I said, I'm going to do a video on it eventually. But another thing about the Osmo is I love the accessories that are available for it. I've got a few accessories for it now that add a significant amount of functionality to it. And it looks like we're at the old DG. You know, I don't know if you guys have Dollar Generals where you are, but if you do, it means you're in the middle of nowhere. I'll tell you that. I don't know how they do it. Actually, I do know how they do it. I was so interested in their business model, I did a report on it. Dollar General's actually got a pretty sophisticated model insofar that they can actually purchase cheap land and then fill the store with like one employee to manage it. And sure enough, that gives them enough low overhead that they can run stores out in the middle of nowhere and then charge an exorbitant amount for things, which they're not a dollar, and people will pay them for convenience. And vendors and suppliers actually end up pining to be in Dollar Generals because they know people will buy brands that they aren't familiar with just because it's convenient. I know. I'm gonna leave there running. I'm literally going here and get a toy, buddy. So I'll be right back. We'll be right back. Nah, I might take you in. Nah, well, we'll figure it out. I'll be right back. We secured the goods. I got myself some Mountain Explosion. That does not sound like it's going to be good for the dog. That got his attention, didn't it, Goof? Yeah, it did, didn't it? You don't even want your head out of the window anymore, do you? Yeah. What is this? Goof. What is that? I don't think so. I'm almost going to let this just get into the lake because I'd rather get dirty lake water than let you eat whatever chemical plant that was built in. What is that, bud? Good boy. Can I have that? Marty? Good boy. Uh-oh, you got a little current, don't you, dude? Yeah. A little bit of a current going away, don't you? That's going to wear you out. I can't wait. You going to be napping. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want me to throw that again, do you? You going to make me get that? Get that toy. Get that toy. This thing isn't waterproof, man. Get the toy. Get that. Go get it. Get that. You better go get it. Good boy. Good boy. This thing is not waterproof. You ready? Go get it. But what was I saying? Oh, I was talking about the accessories. So, I've literally gotten a ton of accessories for this thing. I've got a magnetic mount, and I use that pretty much every single time I film inside this small studio that I'm in, because I can just pretty much stick it to a wall and... Sorry. Goof. Oh, yeah. He'd hate me if you couldn't. Ah, there it goes. Go get it. But I've got a magnetic mount, and then I ended up getting one of these mounts that... And I'm getting a phone mount for it because the screen on the Osmo Pocket 3's... All right, so been kind of a weird day, long day. Was going to go outside and play some fetch. You probably got to see that Chew Toy's last moments because Marty got distracted mid-swim and managed to come back with a stick instead of what I threw out in the water. So, I guess we'll have to track that thing down. Maybe it'll wash ashore one day. But it is the most important time of the day. It's time to go get some pizza, which if you know me, which I guess you're going to start getting to know me a little bit more, and I'm not going to wear sunglasses, They say something about like you can't get sunburned or something like that with your sunglasses. Who knows? But if you know me, you know that you are what you eat. And then that means that my body is pretty much comprised of primarily pizza. And that's no secret. Yeah. 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 And still, you're kind of soaking wet, so it will air you out a little bit. Okay. I actually like this format. It's much easier than doing the reviews that I typically do. I think in terms of editing, it's more excusable for me to not edit. And that's my language. That's my love language. Edit less. They say fix it in camera, don't fix it in post. And the unfortunate thing is I'm not good with the camera. So sometimes I have to bank on the post, but I can't. Can't do either. I'm not really an editor either. But I can't help but feel like The Osmo Pocket 3 is if you want to get a dedicated camera. You know, it's not like a Sony, it's not a Canon. You know, even though some of those have 1-inch sensors too. Uh, it's really hard to beat if you actually want to get serious about shooting videos. You can do a lot with just your iPhone. You can do a lot, or whatever smartphone you choose. Sorry, I don't want to pick any favorites. I'm sure Samsung has really good cameras too now. But you don't get the stabilization that you get. There's a difference between digital stabilization and like physical stabilization. It is a different beast. I mean, I'm shaking this camera right now, and yeah, you're probably getting some shake, right? That's pretty crazy. But I mean, I'm looking at the sensor right now. I can see it is like pivoting right now with me. And I mean, I'm giving it a pretty good tussle. But I think it makes so much sense for creators from a creator's standpoint because it comes with this microphone that automatically syncs up directly to the Osmo, right? I mean, I didn't have to do anything. It's never unpaired for me. It's always been just directly paired to this thing. It's been super easy. You just turn this on, you turn that thing on, boom, you're recording. And it's so nice. And it's those kind of things that allow you to get to shooting quickly. And I think sometimes, you know, if you have a big camera, first off, people are kind of turned off. They're like, hey, you got a giant gimbal, you got a giant camera, you can't be in here. And they don't do that with your cell phone, for instance, because it's just so common to have those. This makes a good middle ground because it's like, hey, I've got a gimbal and I've got a 1-inch sensor. So I'm going to capture good content and it's going to be stabilized, unlike you could get with any kind of phone right now. I really like that. And I've set my tiny house or my studio area where I record a lot of my videos. I've set it up to utilize that point and shoot nature. For instance, I've actually got adhesive metal plates. I don't know, you guys are probably going to lose me from the wind. But I bought these adhesive metal plates with 3M on the back of it, and they're magnetic. And then I bought a magnetic mount. Now, there's a guy who has a video, he sells them kind of on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. But I bought those. Yeah, I think he's just going to lay down. But I bought those plates, and so I essentially don't have to deal with any tripods. I don't have to get a bunch of stuff set up. I magnetically attach this straight to the wall, and because it naturally will stay level, it has a built-in level as a gimbal. As soon as I put it on the wall, it doesn't matter if I'm a little crooked, a little off, we're good. It immediately is in alignment, and I can get straight to shooting video. On top of that, I have it right next to a window that I have diffused with some, what's that stuff called? Frosted glass spray, right? Some Rust-Oleum frosted glass. And it diffuses some of that natural light coming in, so now I don't have to have a giant lantern or a light setup if it's daytime, which at nighttime I still have a pretty good solution to shoot videos. But I can literally slap this thing on the wall, which I'll actually show you maybe a little video. Maybe I'll put it in front of the, I'll do a little overlay right now. I can literally slap this thing on the wall, start recording. It's that easy. And it's that magnetic mount that also has some cold shoe mounts, which means I can put my my Rode Video Mic NTG on it, and I can mount this Osmo, or I can mount the DJI Mic 2 on the other side, meaning I can have both of these things wirelessly, all in one thing, magnetically stuck to the wall. I hope you guys can hear me, or I'm sitting here talking to myself looking like a big old idiot. But it's things like that that allow you just to get up and going. And in a tiny house, if I were going to do the same thing with any kind of camera, I'd have a tripod, I'd have a giant light stand, and I'd have a lantern or a big old softbox. I'd have a bunch of things that would just take up so much floor real estate I would not be able to move. It's things like that. Makes filming so much easier. And it's why I got the Osmo. It's not why the Osmo, I think, is sold. I think, and that's really what I was getting at when I said I bought the Osmo, but I don't think it's for the reasons that other people have bought it for. It's because I saw that vision in my head. And I was like, there's a world where I can immediately get to filming without whipping out a bunch of stuff and maintaining the floor real estate. I can get enough dynamic shots to make plenty of content in a small space, because being in a small space and living in a small space, you have to learn to maximize it. And I guess it's just because the accessories are there for the Osmo, or because the Osmo is just small, that it just enables me to do that. So having the mic and then having this thing mounted on the magnetic mount that also holds the Osmo Pocket 3, that's great. But I've got this new thing that I just got, and it mounts to the bottom of either the battery or the little extender that you get with the Creator Combo, and it can hold your phone. It mounts your phone to the Osmo Pocket 3, and now you're thinking to me like, why would I do that? Well, that's a good question that I ask myself, and there's several reasons why you want to do that. Because the screen on the Osmo, it's not glorious. It's not huge. Like right now, I can barely see me. I can see me enough to know what the shot looks like, but I'm not able to see the nitty-gritty details that you really do need to see. If you're filming something kind of important, right? Like I made a video last week, and then when I got it up onto the 4K TV, and I'm doing my work on the LG C2, I realized, okay, my keyboard's disgusting, and I really don't want to share this. I need to go back and clean my keyboard. But it had been nice to know that. It had been really nice to know that beforehand. But whatever, I digress. Shout out to Jay-Z. Shout out to Jay's 2 cents. Having the phone mounted is good just to monitor your video. But I can use it as a teleprompter, which is another thing. Maybe you lose me there. I can use it as a teleprompter, which is great. And I have been using that, but the last video I did, I can't get into reading it. I can't get into reading things to you guys. Like, it's not like it's story time, I got to read a story that I wrote to y'all. I'd rather just wing it, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be able to write to a script that this guy's cutting into my lane right now. I'm not going to be able to write that in. But this guy's being a total jerk. And so, it's kind of nice just freestyling it, right? Anyways, even though I chose to use the Osmo Pocket and I had a specific purpose and thought behind it, and I knew it would work, it didn't align with any other thing that anybody else was really doing with it, right? Most people, I think, were just kind of doing what I'm doing with it right now. They're like, hey, you can take this thing out, you can talk directly into it, and it's really good for you. You can get cool shots outside if you want to. It's like this on-the-go kind of thing, right? And me, I'm using it like exclusively indoors. But it's so good for that. It's so good for that because you could just literally flip it out and go for it. And it was that moment that I realized, no, this thing does everything. It's a camera. Like, there's no restrictions to it. It's just a camera. The only thing you're not really going to be able to do is add like a 35 millimeter lens to it, right? And I don't know, maybe you can. I mean, they're making like lenses. I probably have already showed you the Freewell kit that I have. It's got a ton of stuff on it, right? And there is a wide angle lens, and it works. I mean, this is the wide angle lens right now. I think it looks pretty good. It makes my house look a lot bigger online. You know what I mean, right? I don't want everybody knowing my house is that tiny. But maybe they can do something like that one day. And if they can, then I'm totally down. This is, to me, if you think about it, go back in time. And the first camera was the Osmo Pocket 3 instead of a rectangle with no stabilization, nothing like that. Imagine if it was the Osmo Pocket 3 first, okay? And everyone got used to it, and this is what cameras are. And then one day somebody shows up with a rectangle and says, look at this new camera. I think people would be like, that's dumb. That's a dumb camera. Put that thing away. Throw it away. The Osmo Pocket 3, that's how you build a camera, right? Don't you move? Aren't you a human? Don't you need stabilization? Don't you need tracking? Yeah. Yeah, you do. You need all those things. So that's why I don't know what it is. Like I said earlier, it's like, is it the marketing, or is it just the way the Creator Combo is set up? It almost restricts your thought process about the camera. And that's the last thing you need to do with a camera, is to restrict your perspective and tell yourself you can't get a certain shot. It's the last thing you need to do, right? Don't call it the Creator Combo. Call it the Combo Wombo. Call it something else, right? Because the best shots that I've had with the Osmo Pocket 3 aren't of a creator like me. They are of a product. They're of something else. Or, maybe they're of the Earth. I'm sure there's people who've got really good shots of the Earth. So maybe they need to have an Earth combo. I don't know. I guess what I'm saying here is the Osmo Pocket 3 is versatile, you know? And if I can create engaging content with it in any kind of form factor, maybe as a creator like this, I mean, all I'm doing is getting pizza right now. And if you're sitting here listening to me mumble, then there maybe is something to this thing just being a creator combo kind of thing. But it's just so versatile. And if you're thinking about getting one and you're like, nah, I'm not really a creator, I don't really want to do vlogs, get it anyways. Get it anyways and find out really what it can do. Because like I said, if the original camera looked like this, I think people would throw away those rectangle cameras any day of the week. And if we really refined what this thing did and had the same kind of iterations that a standard camera had, I think this would be a crazy, crazy camera. I can't wait to see the Osmo Pocket 10, and what it's capable of. Honestly, I didn't think that I was going to be this excited about something, about a camera. I bought an M3 MacBook Pro this year. I've got like digital weights that are crazy sick, I've got some like nice things that I bought myself that, just to make my life a little easier. And, I like tech. I have bought some really cool things over the past year, and there's just nothing as cool as this thing. And I hate it. I hate it because I paid so much money for the M3 Pro, paid a lot of money for the digital weights, paid a lot of money for the LG C2 display that I have, for the desk setup that I've got going on, paid so much money for all this stuff. And I'm like, but still, man, the coolest thing I have is the Osmo Pocket 3. And I find myself grabbing this thing and just shooting with it. And so if you're thinking about getting the Osmo Pocket 3 and you're like, I don't know what kind of content I'm going to shoot, get the Osmo Pocket 3 and find out what kind of content to shoot. Figure that part out later, because that's what I did. I'm finding out that I can shoot pretty much anything with this thing. And I had somewhat of an idea of what I wanted to do, and I did it, and sure enough, it works. But I'm pretty sure that's only because the Osmo Pocket 3 is going to work in almost any environment you throw it in, outside of maybe throwing it in water or, expecting it to be a GoPro. And I think that's one thing that people probably think is that, hey, this is like durable, it's like a GoPro. It's not. Wish it was. That's the only pitfall, is that it's just kind of weak. And maybe that's what the Osmo Pocket 10 will be. It'll actually be durable, drop resistant stuff. I don't know. That's the only thing I can find as a problem with this, is it's sensitive and delicate. Do you just want to throw it in your pocket, raw dog it? No. It comes with a case. You should probably keep it in the case. You should cover up the lens. You should do anything you can to protect it. Don't raw dog it in your pocket. I did earlier today. I felt like I was living life on the edge. It worked out okay. It still works. But, you can throw this thing in any kind of situation and it can make a cool shot, right? I think this shot right now is kind of decent. But anyways, I'm almost here to pick up my pizza. As you can tell, I live very far away from the pizza place, and it's a real big problem. But like I said earlier, this body runs on pizza, and so I will find a way to get the pizza no matter what. I don't care if it's rain, snow, sleet, I'll get to the pizza. But the moment I get to this pizza, I'm going to start eating it. So I'm just going to maybe get back here and talk to you after I eat it. I don't know. We'll see. My battery's probably going to die pretty soon. So I'm really putting this thing through the paces. Anyways, I'll see you in a minute. Bye. I just had this idea for a shot. So I've got this magnetic mount. And I also just said, don't throw this thing in any environments. You're going to lose me because of the brightness. But I also said, don't throw this thing into any environments it doesn't need to be in, right? And I'm about to do that because I had this idea for a shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this thing on the outside of my car, roll the window down so Marty can stick his head out, and I'm going to get a shot that I've always wanted but never got. I'm just going to record him just in pure enjoyment. We're going to see how that goes. Anyways, I'll be there in a minute. See you.